All right, tubers, Madame Roy back once again. Probably notice I'm starting it 5 minutes early, this live stream. Why? Because I can. There we go. Hope everybody's having a good evening tonight. Yeah, my face just looks totally drowned out. I cannot get this lighting right, but I may have a solution. If you look right back here, this is something that I picked up at the thrift store today for, what did I pay for this thing? $2, actually less than that. It was like $1.50 with the discount. This is the Smith Vision or Smith Victor bar light L20. This is one of those photo lights that they used to use back in the 50s or 60s. If I had to guess, this thing's probably from the late 50s, early 60s. That uses just two regular, what the heck is it, L19? I can't remember the regular bulbs, not candelabras, just regular socket bulbs. And I will show you how powerful this is. I actually purchased two daylight bulbs from Dollar Tree. These are 60-watt daylight LED bulbs. And check this out. What do you guys think of that? That would probably drive you nuts. But if I can figure out a way to incorporate this into the setup, maybe we can get a little bit better lighting conditions. This is also going to be good for doing cooking videos. So I can actually bring this down to the kitchen. You can see I actually have it mounted on the tripod right now. And you can also hold it. It's got a handle here. I actually had to take off this little metal standoff here, I guess you would call it. This was actually on it, but most tripods, at least the ones I have, actually have them built in already. So I'll have to put this back when I'm done. But for $2, definitely not a bad deal. Let's see who we got here so far. Stephen Barber says, "Oh, Matt, guess what I did? Countered his fear of candles, and he lit one today." You know what? A lot of people are scared of candles, especially if they've had fires in their houses, and for good reason, because they can be dangerous. Now, you can be safe. Like when I light my candle over there, I actually have that on a drink coaster, and right before I go to bed, I blow it out. I don't actually let that burn overnight like I used to, because that can definitely be a fire hazard. I'm going to be right back, tubers. Hang on a second. I need to go ahead and fix this because I literally looked like a ghost. 7 watchers and 4 likes. That is awesome. Do you know that I actually had 2 dislikes since yesterday? Because I posted this live stream up yesterday. How do you get dislikes before the stream even starts? How do people know if they're going to like it or not? I don't know. Probably just trolls, right? George Blakely says, "Nice score for $2. Yes, it is. And it's very, very good quality. Let me see if I can take it off the tripod so you guys can see it better. Very, very typical high quality metal construction for the time. Guys can see you can hold it like this, and it actually, what it was would have been used for back in the day was for photos, taking photos in photo studios. Say they were trying to take a photo of somebody needed a little extra light. Somebody would grab this, turn it on, and there you go. Now, granted, the bulbs back then would not have been as bright as these are, but you know what? That's the plus of living in this day and age. We have LED technology. And for those of you that are really interested, it is the L21 bar light, suggested lens openings for average subjects. So basically tells you the distance for each type of lens. So if it's a still, a 125 second, you want it, that's for somebody that's 16 feet away. Indoor color, the f-stop you set to 1.5, and then for black and white, the f-stop you set to 1.9. So it gives you some of the terms there. I really don't know a lot. It's been a long time since I took a photography class, so probably means more to some of you than it does to me. And then just a nice switch. This is so gratifying. Things today are made like such crap. I want you guys to listen to this. You guys hear that? That's the sound of quality. And the really nice thing about it having LED bulbs, this doesn't actually get hot. I can leave this on for pretty much any length of time. Go ahead and touch the bulb and I won't burn my hands. So really nice score there. And just to let you guys know, I do have a thrift store haul video coming, hopefully later on tonight or tomorrow. Mom and I went down to Virginia Beach and we did a whole bunch of thrift store shopping. And I was going to incorporate it into the live stream here, but honestly, it's just too much stuff to haul up to my room and show you guys in front of the webcam. It's just going to be a heck of a lot easier doing it as a separate video. Stephen Barber says, people hating. Did you hear Corey Holzman got swatted? Yes, I did. And yes, I know it was during his live stream. For those of you who don't know what swatting is, basically somebody will call the cops on you saying that you're doing something horrible to somebody, and they actually send the SWAT team out to your house or your business, wherever you are. I did watch that live stream, but I didn't watch it to that point. It was later at night and I was getting ready for bed. I maybe watched the first 20 or 30 minutes of it. It'd been interesting if I saw it all the way through. As soon as I heard that SWAT team come, I'd be like, what's going on? But luckily he's okay. He was able to explain what actually happened. And from what I heard, somebody had called the police telling him that he had murdered his wife, which is not funny. I mean, I can't even believe somebody has that warped, twisted sense of humor. I don't even really care if I get demonetized for that in this video. It's just really sick. Whoever thought about that one really has some mental problems, honestly. Stephen Barber said he was watching the live stream when it happened and was confused of what was going on. I think I would have been confused too. I still can't believe that. That's horrible. Cameron Cloud said, Matt, thoroughly enjoyed your old Las Vegas vlog. Oh my gosh, you went all the way back to that one? Yeah, I'm going to start resharing some of the old vlogs. Up until now, I've mainly been focusing on the old tech videos. But I am going to share some of the older vlogs that I think you guys might find interesting. And the reason I'm doing this is twofold. One, it actually helps the ad revenue come in, which helps me make a little extra money and helps me make better videos. And two, a lot of you out there are newer subscribers. You have not seen some of my older videos, which honestly, I'm actually proud of a lot of my old tech videos that I did back in between 2012 and 2016. And the reason I don't do a lot of those anymore is at that time, Mom was out of the house working. Now she's retired and that she's here all the time. It's very hard to do those videos because I love my mother to death, but her voice carries. And every time I try to do a video in my room, unfortunately, it usually gets destroyed by Mom yelling to me saying, Matt, did you clean up your room? Matt, you got to go do the dishes. I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but it is kind of true. Cameron Cloud says, Matt, digging the no glasses look, mate. Well, thank you. I never thought I looked good without glasses, but now that I've lost the weight and my face is thinned up, I actually kind of like the look, and my eyes are readjusting slowly. I was able to drive tonight in the dark with no glasses on, and that's something I was never able to do in the past. Ruben asks, hey, Matt, can you give me some updates for the 29 Dell Precision T35s for January? Yeah, I have 2 or 3 of them left. I've actually sold most of the other ones, and I traded quite a few of them away to a friend of mine. Those wound up being a mixed bag. Again, about half of them wound up having bad power supplies. The other half I was able to work with and was able to sell. I still want to do a video. I have one that I'm saving, and it's actually in the storage right behind here that I'm saving to do a refurbishment video for this channel. I just need to find the time to do it. Unfortunately, that's a little bit easier said than done nowadays. Stephen Barber says, I like where you got your Dell XPS 8700 and all the upgrades. I watched them nonstop. Thank you. I agree. How can someone be so cruel? Yeah, back then on that video where I did the upgrades, I was heavy. That was back in 2014 when I was probably every bit of 350, 360 pounds. I got a lot of hate for that. I actually had somebody leave a comment that said, why don't you just get it over with and do the society a favor and basically take your own life? And unfortunately, that's been a recurring theme in my older videos because there are really cruel people out there. Do you realize that obesity is one of the only prejudices that we still have in our society? We don't discriminate against race, sex, color, gender orientation, religious creed, any of that, but we do still have bias and discrimination against heavy people. And I think a lot of it stems from the fact that people think that it's something that can be controlled. And to some extent, it can be. But there are people out there that cannot control their weight. There are actually known diseases out there that cause people to be overweight no matter what. There's actually a disease out there. I don't remember the name of it, but it actually is a disease where you're always hungry. You always want to eat. And these people do their best to control that. But at the end of the day, I can't even imagine if I was hungry all the time, that'd be like living in purgatory for me. So the best thing I can tell you to do is just ignore these people. People out there are going to be stupid. They're going to say things that are hurtful. I've said things that are hurtful, honestly, for not about weight, but for other things. That's just human nature. And unfortunately, we just have to have thick skin and kind of get over it. Well, thank you, Stephen. He says that he's glad that I'm around and I'm around to be his friend. I try to be friendly as much as I can. Now, there are some people out there that rub me the wrong way, but if you come up to me and you're nice and you're kind and you're not like weird, like from Planet 51, then yeah, we could definitely be friends. Though I've had to eliminate a lot of craziness from my life in the past, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. Power Realm in the house. Nice. It's glad to see some new viewers. I'm really pleased about that. Eric Brunhammer said, I would do the same thing, but I'm the exact opposite. I'm not as proud of my older videos. You know what, Eric? I don't know why, because honestly, I've actually watched a lot of your older videos more so than your newer ones because of time constraints. And I really enjoyed your older videos when you showed the computer halls and things. But honestly, I would reshare them if it was up to me. Ruben says, we had heavy rain today and flash flooding occurred in Ventura, San Bernardino, Santa Barbara, pretty much everywhere. It's not raining now. That's good. Hopefully by the morning for rush hour, all the rain will have washed away. If not, it's going to be a heck of a time traveling into work for most people out there. Paul Kane says most maladies that affect the thyroid will cause weight gain. Yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, I know somebody. I don't want to name names, but I know somebody who actually had their thyroid taken out, and that was a problem. They actually have to be on medication for a lot of things. Believe it or not, the thyroid controls a lot of things in your body. It controls your blood pressure, controls your metabolism, controls a lot of things in your body. So unfortunately, when your thyroid's not working or you don't have it at all, you have a lot of issues like that, and you have to take a lot of medications to help control the things that the thyroid would normally control. Thank you, Eric. Eric put out Prader-Willi syndrome. That's a syndrome to where you're constantly hungry and you feel like you have to eat all the time. Ruben doesn't want me to take him to Area 51 military base. I don't think I could get on there even if I wanted to. Eric Brunhammer says, flaw on Marable's chromosome 15. It causes intellectual impairment, short stature, and occasionally violent behavior. It also profoundly affects hunger, creating a sense of never being satisfied. That just goes back to my other point. If somebody out there is obese, morbidly obese, overweight, what have you, you have to know that person. You have to know why they're heavy. Again, there are people out there that are gluttonous, that overeat. And yeah, I mean, I still wouldn't make fun of them. But there are also those people that have those legitimate medical conditions. And there's no reason to say hurtful things to somebody about that. When I was in school, I was brought to tears on many occasion for people making fun of my weight, saying, "Oh, look at Fatty's coming. Fatty's here. He'll never get a girlfriend. He'll never have a normal life." And that's very hurtful, especially when you're a kid. Just don't do it. Don't get your kicks by putting other people down, because at the end of the day, if that's what you're doing, then there's something wrong in your mind. I don't know about Second Life. I apologize. WW Soul says, I dated a girl who had Asperger's. It was difficult. Communication was not our strong point. Yeah, I'll tell you something about Asperger's. Being that I was diagnosed with it, I've done some research and I've looked it up. And the funny thing was, the first time my therapist diagnosed me with it, I went online and looked up the 15 signs of or symptoms of Asperger's. And I was like, check, 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 check. As a matter of fact, I think the only thing that I didn't have was maybe one or two of those symptoms. Let's see if I can find that website. What are the signs and symptoms of Asperger's? Here's some of them right here. Problems making and maintaining friendships. In my case, maybe not so much. I do like making friends, but I like having a small group of friends. Like if I was to go out to like a bar and try to hang out with a whole bunch of people, I couldn't do it. I would be so uncomfortable. Isolation or minimal interaction in social situations. That's definitely me. I am more comfortable interacting with people through the YouTube system than being face to face sometimes. And that is an actual symptom of Asperger's. We tend to pick and choose our friends carefully, and then there are times that we just have to be alone. Like we cannot handle being around people at certain times. And a lot of times it happens to be when we're not feeling well. That's just the way it is. Number 3, poor eye contact or the tendency to stare at others. And I've done both. There are times where I'll either be staring intently at somebody and that'll be kind of off-putting, or somebody will be talking to me and I'll kind of say the person's right here and then we're having a conversation. I'll keep doing this. Okay, yeah, kind of like that. It again, it's just another one of the symptoms. Cameron Cloud asks, do you get social anxiety, Matt? Absolutely. I have it all the time. As a matter of fact, I have to force myself to interact with new people. I'm much more comfortable interacting with people that I've known for a long period of time. It's just the way, again, just the way it is. Another one, inability to recognize humor, irony, or sarcasm. Yes, I am very bad at that. Inappropriate behaviors or odd mannerisms. I got that for sure, believe me. Problems expressing empathy, controlling emotions, or communicating feelings. That's an interesting one because I'm a very empathetic person. I definitely do not have that problem. If somebody tells me they're having an issue or they're having problems with a family member, I'm the first one to say, yes, I will pray for you. Let me know what's going on. That way I can maybe start a prayer chain. Controlling emotions, I have a very hard time with. There are times that I have emotional outbursts, and even at my age, that's not fun. Lack of common sense. Some people might say I have a lack of common sense. Not all the time, but sometimes. All right, this is a real bad one. And this is something that I've grown out of for the most part, but when I was young, I had a lot of problems with this tendency to engage in one sided conversations, normally about oneself. And I used to do that all the time, mainly because I had a hard time comprehending what other people were telling me. So I was more comfortable talking about what I was interested in and not necessarily what someone else was interested in. Interpretation of information is literal, same thing there. And what's the last one here? And the preference of a strict schedule or routine. Yes and no. I do like having routine, but I'm not the kind of person that has to do the same thing at the same time every day. I do like a lot of variety, actually. It's interesting. Nick Roberts says most people with Asperger's syndrome love computers or electronics. Yeah, mainly because when we interact with them, we don't have to talk directly to other people. I believe that, honestly believe that is the reason. And if you have Asperger's syndrome like I do, you want to make sure you get out there in public. You go, if I'm not saying go to the bar scene, but maybe get involved in church or go to a restaurant and try to interact with people and just do your best. It's never easy. I'm telling you, if you don't have Asperger's syndrome and you don't understand what it's like for people with like us that do have it. WW Soul says, that's how I realized she had Asperger's. My friend suggested she had Asperger's, and I said, don't be stupid. Then I looked up the symptoms in girls. We had been dating for 6 to 7 months at that point. Believe it or not, it's very similar, the symptoms between girls and boys. A lot of times they'll tell you the symptoms are different, but not really. For the most part, they're the same. WW Souls, girls are better than boys at hiding it. Interesting. Maybe because girls tend to be more emotional anyway, and a lot of times people with Asperger's tend to be emotional. I'm just guessing maybe that's why. Jonathan Grindle says, to me, the world we live in is heading to remind me of the movie Wall-E. Yeah, I guess I can see that. We're definitely becoming more introverted, and that's not a good thing at all. Eric Brunhammer said, I was never diagnosed with it, but looking at the symptoms, it is pretty obvious that I have many of the symptoms. I don't want anybody to self-diagnose themselves. Please don't do that. I mean, I'm going over the symptoms, yes, but this is just from one website. The only person that can really diagnose you with this is a physician. I'm talking about a psychiatrist, psychologist, a professional. Don't self-diagnose yourself, please. Please don't do that. Power Realm says, Matt, you look younger and better without glasses. Yeah, I can see that. I'm 35, and honestly, I don't feel 35. I have a lot of people tell me I don't look 35. I've always had kind of a young face, and I think a lot of that has to do with hereditary. My family tends to look younger than they are. My uncle, who's in his 60s now, honestly doesn't even look like he's 50. So that's kind of a plus. It just depends. Though it was hard because up until I was about 30, I got carded every time I went to buy liquor. True story. All right, let's get off that topic. And I wanted to answer a few questions that were in the comments section for people that aren't here, because I know a lot of you guys will see this in post-production. Oh, this is one. This was Mrs. Sue. She liked my mom's ziti, the recipe that we did. Oddly enough, she said that she cooks ziti, but not the way we do. And it's funny, a lot of people here in the South, when they cook their ziti, they don't actually use ricotta cheese. They just use the ziti noodles, the pasta sauce, and then maybe just some mozzarella and Parmesan Romano. They actually leave out what am I talking about? My mind just went blank. The ricotta cheese. And I think that's actually really important because the ricotta cheese gives you a lot of flavor. Now, granted, it gives you more calories, but if you're eating ziti, then you're probably not that self conscious about eating a little extra calories. And believe me, the taste is so much better with that ricotta cheese. Ruben says, I haven't watched The Simpsons, Family Guy, and Bob's Burgers for a while. I better watch it on Sunday night. Um, I'm not a Simpsons fan. I do like Family Guy, and I was never much for Bob's Burgers. As a matter of fact, the reason I don't like Bob's Burgers is that's the show that replaced King of the Hill, and I would much rather see new episodes of King of the Hill than Bob's Burgers. That was one of my absolute favorite shows of all times, King of the Hills. Well, I should say cartoon animated shows. MB asks, hey Matt, do you have fiber internet? Have recently upgraded here in my place and loving it. Yes, we have Fios. Now, we have the fiber to the box, but from the box to the house, it's still coaxial cable. So it's not as fast as it could be, but it gets the job done. We have, our plan is 100, so 100 up, 100 down. Seems like everybody else loves King of the Hill too. Very, very well done series. Very underrated, in my opinion. Interesting. Jonathan Griddle said he's going to stay away from CenturyLink since it's slow. Cox is much more reliable out where he is than fiber. Very, very opposite here. We actually had Cox Cable here in my neighborhood for the first 5 or 10 years, and we hated it. And the reason was it was the only thing available in our neighborhood, and everybody used it. And for anybody out there that's used cable internet, you share your bandwidth. So around 5 or 6 at night, when everybody got on, the bandwidth slowed to a crawl. Where I am, the Fios, Verizon Fios, is much better because we have our dedicated line, which means we don't share our bandwidth with anybody. Okay, please don't make me police this. We are not going to say anything nasty about other people. You know who you are that's doing it too, and I'm not going to say anything else. MB says, I'm on 950 megabits down and 450 megabits up. Fiber to the house plan. New Zealand has quite good plans. Yeah, I agree. As a matter of fact, the United States has appalling internet speeds compared to most of the other country. I could get faster internet if I wanted to. They have plans around here that go up to a gigabit, which would be like 1,000 up, 1,000 down. But honestly, I'm one of the only ones in the house that actually uses the internet, and 100 up and 100 down is more than enough for me. You got to remember, I'm not a gamer, so I don't game with it. You know, I do the live streams, but I just don't need any more than that. I do not, Jonathan Grindle asks, I do not know if Files is out in Arizona. You can go to their website and you can put in your home phone number and they can tell you that if it's available. Ruben wants to know where Milo and Baxter are. I'm assuming they're downstairs. I have the door open, so if they want to come in here, they can. Nick Roberts says, I'm in New Zealand. I only have unlimited VDST when uploading. It uploads 4 megabits per second and download a file. It downloads at 8 megabits per second. Yeah. I mean, it depends on the area. Their area, where I live, there is a town next to us, Suffolk, is very rural, and their speeds are appalling. They only have DSL or Charter, which is another cable company that has horrible speeds too. So yeah, I mean, it just really depends on where you live. Yes, Jonathan, I still have the Linksys AC 1900 router, the one I got at the garage sale for $1 like 4 years ago. That's the router that I pretty much use. I have it in bridge mode from the Fios router, but I do still have the Fios router active. So if I need to hook up a lot of wireless devices, I can hook half of them up to the Linksys AC 1900 and the other half to the Fios router. MB needs to change his name. Tyler, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I missed yours before. Tyler goes, I got the 200 megabit down and 20 megabyte up. And at night, we can only get 33 down and 3 up. And the jitter is 53 at night and ping is 20 milliseconds. That's terrible. I know you told me you were having issues with your company. And again, if you live in a rural area, that's kind of par for the course. You really don't have a lot of options other than satellite internet, which is appalling. It's slow and it's really, really expensive. Yeah, Ruben, you said it. No good garage sales on Saturday. I actually haven't looked it up, but the weather this weekend here is supposed to be pretty darn cold. Classic Mobile Home says hi. Hey, Classic Mobile Home. Hope you guys are doing well out there, trying to stay warm during this winter. Though, honestly, if you're in the South, it hasn't really, here in the South, it really hasn't been that bad. This Saturday here, it's going to be actually not too bad. It's going to be 53 as a high, 51 as a low, and only 20% chance of rain. So that's not too bad. But Sunday is the question mark. Sunday here, it's a high of 59 and a low of 16. Let me see what it says precipitation-wise. AM rain and wind. The problem with that is if it rains in the AM when it's 59 and then it freezes overnight, then we have roads of ice. So I think Monday's rush hour is going to be pretty bad. I think people are probably going to be staying home. And Monday's sunny, but it's only get up to 28 degrees. So I don't fancy a lot of people's chances of getting into work safely. MB says, problem in New Zealand is the country speed is very, very good, but say upload something to Europe or the US and it will not hit a good speed due to the routes and undersea cable exchanges. Yeah. I remember them talking about that. There was an old movie called Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, and they had to tap into one of those underground cables. Back then, of course, it was just a voice cable, so they could contact the United States. But yeah, going from vast distances, we take it for granted that we're an online society. We don't realize that there is a price you have to pay for going all the way across the globe like that. And it's gotten better quality cabling. Fiber cabling has improved it somewhat, but at the end of the day, there's only so much speed you can get going that great of a distance. Mike Peridin says, hello from Montreal. Hello, Mike. I really want to get back up there one of these days. I miss the Canadian food, specifically cretin. And I'm sure, Mike, you've probably heard of it being from Quebec. Oh, the pork spread. It's one of my favorite dishes from Canada. Cretin is a pork spread that we would put on toast or crackers and maybe put a little bit of mustard on top. Oh, I miss it so much. My mouth is watering for it right now. Unbelievably good. Paul Kane asks, Matt, when someone gets a new computer, how do you move all their stuff from the old computer to the new computer? That is a great question. The way I usually do it is, depending on the amount of data, I either get an external hard drive or a high-capacity flash drive and literally just copy it from their old computer, copy, not cut, copy their user folder, paste it onto the flash drive or external hard drive, And then before I take that out and put it in the new computer, I run virus scans, anti-spyware scans, and I take it, put it on the new computer, and just copy that information into the same folders. Now, the trick here is you want to make sure that everything goes back in the same place on the new computer as where it came from the old computer. So the easiest way to do that, again, just grab the entire user folder. If there are multiple ones, you'll have to grab multiple user folders, copy them to your flash drive or external hard drive, and then what you do is you copy them back into the same place on the new computer. Now, you don't have to make new users. Usually the people will do that, or a lot of times, let's say their old computer had 4 or 5 users, and maybe this time they don't want all those. Then what you can do is just copy those extra users into another folder that says backup from old HP or old Dell computer. And of course, make sure you date it too. That's really important as well. And don't forget, you're going to need to go ahead and put things like their browser favorites back in place. If you backed up, if they still use Microsoft Outlook, you'll need to go ahead and set up their new Outlook on their new computer and put their emails and their calendar back. So there's a lot to it there. The best thing to do is to get somebody to actually show you how to do it. It's kind of hard to go through all the steps here during a live stream. MB asks about power line adapters. I've never used them myself personally. I know a lot of my friends have, and they've had mixed results. It all depends on how good the wiring is in your house. If you have a newer house with really good wiring, then you should be fine. But if you have like an older, like turn of the century to maybe like mid 1940s, 1950s World War II era house with older wiring, it's not going to work so well. So it just depends. Paul Kane said, "That's stuff I'm interested in. Too bad you're in Virginia and not Arizona." You know what? If I ever won the lottery, I would do a lot more traveling. I'd love to go to some of these symposiums, maybe go to some, just go visit a lot of you guys out there. I'd love to do a fan meetup somewhere, maybe out in California. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. If I win the lottery, you never know. We've got 22 watchers and 18 likes. That's awesome. I386 says, I have a cousin that uses his PlayStation with power line adapter. Yeah, again, you can do that if you have good enough wiring. MB says, take the Buick on a cross-country trip. It's a possibility. Again, the only constraint right now, the almighty dollar. I don't really have unlimited funds. I would love to. If somebody out there wanted to sponsor me for a cross-country trip like that, I would absolutely do it. I think that would be really fun, and maybe I could go with somebody. I wouldn't want to take mom or dad because I don't think they'd have a lot of fun, but I could take one of my other friends. That's actually a really good idea. So I have some homework for you guys. If anybody out there knows of a company or an individual that might want to sponsor me on a cross-country trip where I would, see interesting sites, maybe do abandoned exploration videos, I think that would be really awesome. Absolutely. Classic Mobile says, my blood sugar has been at 110. That's really good. That's actually almost normal, believe it or not. When it comes to blood sugar, intermittent fasting is really crucial. You have to be careful though. If you're a diabetic and you're on insulin or any kind of medications, when you intermittent fast, your blood sugar can drop too low. So you have to keep your levels monitored. But you can start by doing maybe like a 8 or a 10-hour intermittent fast versus like the 16 or 17 hours. And what that's going to do is that's going to help your body process all of the food you've eaten throughout the day. And if you do that day after day after day, you're going to notice that your blood sugars are going to run a lot lower. That's actually the way I got started, believe it or not. Yes, Cameron Cloud said MB and I are getting some New Zealand snacks to getting me some New Zealand snacks to try. Look it up. It's a New Zealand drink. It's called lemon and peroa. Peroa. Pay. Or I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, I'll take a look at that. Let me see. L&P, also known as L&P, is a sweet soft drink manufactured in New Zealand, traditionally made by combining lemon juice and carbonated mineral water from the town of Peoria. Is that Peoria? I think is how you pronounce that. That actually sounds really good. Yeah, I'd love to try that. I've never had like foreign snacks or foreign drinks, so I think that would be something really interesting. Paroa. Gotcha. Thank you for spelling that out phonetically for me. Makes it a lot easier. Nice. Excellent. Classical Holm says, I have type 2. Okay, so it's not as bad for you. Intermittent fasting should be safe. But again, before you take on any dietary or lifestyle change like that, consult a doctor, or a physician, I should say. I missed something. Looks like Tyler's having problems with his iMac. Turn the power button on. It don't do anything. No fans, no screen. That's why I'm not a big fan of all-in-one computers. Apple seemed to get them right in the past, but I don't know what it is. All modern all-in-one systems, I'm including iMacs in this, tend to have cooling issues, and they just literally cook themselves over time. Ruben watched Carrie Holzman's live stream. I know I always say Corey, it's Carrie Holzman. Wanted to tell you guys something, and this is not a definite, but there's a chance that I may be getting a pretty interesting system tomorrow. You guys know I got that Alienware Alpha computer. Well, I have somebody that wants to trade me a Alienware Alpha R7, and that is one of the big towers. And the only reason that they want to do it is because they don't have room for it. They actually need a smaller system. And I'll give you some of the specs. The one that they want to trade me for, it's an Alienware R7. It has a 3.7 gigahertz Intel Core i7 8700. It has a 860 watt multi GPU approved power supply, 512 gigabyte M.2 SATA, 512 gigabyte SSD. I'm assuming that's what they're talking about, the same thing there. 500 gigabyte conventional hard drive, and Windows 10 Home. So this thing is a beast. If I can make this deal happen, I can't wait to see this computer. They actually sent me a picture of it, but I can't pull it up for some reason. That'll be an interesting computer. Matter of fact, if I do this trade, that'll actually be a better computer than my Dell XPS 8700. So before it, Stephen Barber already beat me to. He said, replace your 8700 with it. I probably will. As a matter of fact, what I'll probably do, I'll put that computer here, but the 8700 over there is my backup system, and probably just sell the Dell Precision T3600. I'm really excited, but I'm not getting my hopes up because it's almost like one of those things that's too good to be true. So we'll just have to see what happens there. MB says, I run my computer screens, Xbox TV off of the ups. Saved me so many times. Yeah, I need to get one myself. I have not ever owned an uninterruptible power source, believe it or not. And mainly that's because in our area, the power rarely ever goes out. We don't have spikes. We don't have surges. The only time the power usually goes out is if we have a hurricane or inclement weather. And if that happens, I'm usually home and I just turn them off. Turn my computers off, I should say. Yes, Ruben, I have seen UXW Bill's reviews on the ups or the uninterruptible power sources. He actually rebuilds them too. Those are some interesting videos. If you guys have never seen UXW Bill, he's definitely worth watching. He's got some really cool videos. Jonathan Grindle says, got to be careful of Alienware because they're overpriced PCs. I definitely agree to that to some point, but in my case, it's a trade, so I'm not going to be paying anything for it. Alien Tech says, that thing is going to be a good trade. Lucky, LOL. Again, I'm not getting my hopes up. I've talked with this person. It definitely sounds like they're on the up and up, but I'm definitely going to want to plug in this computer because like a high-end automobile, people who have high-end computers like this tend to use them and abuse them. So I want to make sure this doesn't have like a motherboard issue or a problem with the GPU. If it's got an issue with the SSD, I really don't care because as good as that system is, I'll get another M.2 SATA SSD, but or M.2 SSD, but if it's something like a motherboard issue, that's not going to be so easy to fix. High-end computer equals high-end parts. So I don't want to have to be replacing motherboards and graphics cards. I know somebody's going to ask me that. I didn't say what the graphics card was. Let me go ahead and I have it here somewhere. It has a NVIDIA, where is it? I know I saw it here before. GTX 470. Again, I'm not a gamer, so I actually don't even know if that's a really good graphics card or not. It's got a Galaxy NVIDIA GTX 470. Someone tell me if that's a good card or not. Yeah, I figured it was on the older side. Probably what they did is when they bought the computer, they probably just got it with integrated graphics. I'm assuming they probably put an older card in there, but for me, it'd probably be just fine. I386 says you do need a good card to edit videos. That's true, but I would think that card would probably be fine. You got to remember this Dell XPS 8700 I have is rocking an R7 360, which is really not even that high end of a card either. Mr. Jimmy said that card would be okay for playing games at 1360 by 768. Okay. So again, more than enough for me because I'm not a gamer. I do video editing. So yeah, I should be fine. i386 is rocking a GTX 1050. Now I know that's a good card because I actually installed that in a client's computer before, and they are really, really good cards. Actually, I could probably get that and put it in the Alienware if I wanted to. Stephen Barber says, my HP Omen came with a 1060 card. Very nice card. Yeah, 1050s, 1060s are really good cards. I need to use my fidget spinner. I don't know if I ever showed you guys this before. This came in one of those little like gumball machine dispensers, but had those little bubble plastic packages. And it was like 75 cents. And I'm like, you know what? This thing really helps with stress. Like if I'm editing up a video and it's not going well, I'll just take my mouse, put it down, pick this up, and I'll be like, just very satisfying. Ruben says, I would love to buy an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2080 Ti for real. That is a real expensive card. I know that for a fact. That card retails for $1,300. That's insane. It amazes me that video cards can cost that much. But I guess all the technology that goes into getting them on the market and getting them to do what they do, you got to pay for that somehow. Oh my goodness, excuse me. I had a big lunch day. I'll tell you guys what I did because Mom and I spent most of the day down in Virginia Beach. I had my dinner for lunch. This morning I had my oatmeal, my banana, and coffee. Same thing I have pretty much every morning. And then for lunch I had a big plate of that baked ziti that we had, a meatball and a half a sausage, and that was good. I figured that was going to fill me up, but I'm telling you, it's going towards 8 o'clock and my blood sugar is dipping. So after this, I may actually have to have a protein shake to get me to tomorrow. I've noticed that ever since I went under the 240-pound mark, that my blood sugar tends to dip a little during the intermittent fasting. So what I'll do, instead of eating something which would negate the fasting, I'll go ahead and just drink something that has a little bit of sugar in it, like the protein shake. But I mean, you can do the same thing with maybe a small bottle of soda. I say a small bottle of soda because those big 20-ounce bottles, they have tons of sugar. Get yourself maybe like one of those 8-ounce cans, the little tiny ones that you see in the grocery stores. Just something to keep your blood sugar up enough till you eat the next day. I'm going to switch the subject because I honestly don't know enough about these high-end graphics cards. Jonathan Griddle asked, do you still have your Linux Dell box? No, I got rid of that a long time ago. But believe me, I have 5 Dell Vostro 200s sitting in the closet over there that I could turn into turn into Linux boxes, no problem. Again, it just has to do with time. My time right now is being spent trying to grow my YouTube channel. A few other things as well that are going on around here that I don't want to discuss here. And I'm going to try to do more tech-related videos in the near future. But the reason I'm doing the live streams more now is, one, a lot of people are telling me they enjoy them, and two, they're less time-consuming. And that's just what's happening right now. Alien Tech said, did you ever get rid of those PCs you bought in the pallet? Yeah, those were the Dell Precision T3500s. I have 2 or 3 of them left, but all the other ones I've sold at this point. I hate to be pessimistic, and I really shouldn't be, because I actually made a good amount of money off of that pallet. But the main problem was at least half of those wound up having the bad power supply. So would I do that again? Probably, but next time I get a pallet of computers like that, I'm going to research it out more, and I'm just going to say that, okay, I'm going to bid like half of them are going to be bad. That's just the way it's going to be. Again, not trying to be pessimistic, but I'm just being realistic here. Yeah, profit is the name of the game. Unfortunately, you have to be able to make a profit or you're not going to be in business. All right, tubers, I'm ending the live stream here. I see we're starting to drop off. I'm getting very tired. Maybe answer 1 or 2 more questions, but then I'm going to call it a night. Jonathan Grindle asked, would you ever buy an Amazon return pallet? Yes, I would, and I really want to do that. I've been trying to look up how to do that, but it's harder than it looks. I mean, you can buy them all day long online and have them shipped, but it's better to buy them from a local wholesaler. And I'm trying to find one in my area, and there just really aren't any that are selling them at the moment. But yeah, I would absolutely consider doing that because you can make a good amount of money. You're not going to get the same kind of things. Like, I'm not going to get computer towers on there, but you'll get things like cell phone cases. You might get iPod, like iPod, iPhone cases, Bluetooth speakers, Bluetooth headsets. And those are all things that I can resell on Craigslist, OfferUp, LetGo, and all those platforms. I'm added here because I have 19 watchers and 19 likes, and my OCD likes having those even numbers. Please continue to like and subscribe. Consider donating to the channel via super chats if at all possible. That'll help me get much better content out there, and all those donations will go to improving the channel. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.